What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 5, Episode 2, and it's called Chapter 78, The Preppy Murders.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending of the podcast because we're going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines, some of your guys' recap roundups. So be sure to stick around for the end of the podcast for that.
And as always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode, y'all.
Let's get into it. Right off the top, what did you think?
I thought it was a good episode. I mean, we're nearing the end of their high school life. And I think that it was hopefully, I mean, not hopefully in the sense that like, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of over it, but at the same time, I get it. The whole Archie saga, the dark Archie saga, I think is slowly coming to an end, which I think it needed this episode, and I think it also needed a little bit of, like, you know, how about you?
Agreed. The first time I watched it, I felt like I was like, meh. You know, I just feel so far removed from graduation because they're still trying to do all these things. Having said that, I did enjoy all the things that sort of led up to the final kind of reveal and all that. But again, like having to remember that like this was meant to be the episode, like episode 21 of 22. So it was always supposed to be this wrap up episode, right? Because I was like, damn, like they're really wrapping everything up. Like we're just starting the season, but I forgot that like it's basically like the last to final episode. Totally. So after like remembering that, I was like, no, I'm like, I get it, and I'm totally happy that they dealt with this whole like
done and dusted,
fucking like 2 mysteries, 2-in-1 deal,
3-in-1,
like
4-in-1.
We're done. And now we really get to hopefully enjoy graduation next week and like truly get like a high school vitamin C graduation moment.
Yes,
it always comes back to
for.
a song. But I'm hoping at least now we're on track to like get that. Agreed.
I hope so too. I think that that's what we're gonna get. That is that final episode. But let's get into this one first. So just before we get into the episode itself, we got a previously on. And literally, they made it specifically so you knew exactly how to follow the story this episode.
So I was going to ask you this too. I didn't like that. I didn't like the previously on because the first thing they showed you is Charles's face and how he's like, we all have the serial killer gene. And I was like, oh my God. He's the guy. Like, he's the guy. Like, he's going to come back in 41 minutes. And it's going to... So I didn't like that they did that. What did you think of that?
I agree with you. I feel like sometimes they let it lead it too easily. And I think this episode really beat it over your head. I mean, we had our theories. And, and like, we were pretty spot on. You were pretty spot on with what you were saying, too. So, like... we got there, but at the same time, I guess for the audience members who like maybe weren't following what was going on because it was so far removed, that whole serial killer question, whether or not he's evil, what is he doing here, blah, blah, blah. So it did bring it back to that. But of course, as soon as I saw Charles talking about that, I'm like, he's the killer.
Yeah,
like,
he's the guy.
It's him.
Now, I wonder if they would have done that if it was the same season. Like, if this really happened last season, would they still have started off with that? I don't know. They probably still would have. To be like, we know we're confusing, guys. Here's a little bit of a hint. Yeah. But I think it ruined it for me a little bit more because I was like, okay, I know what to expect now. Like, that's clearly what's going to happen.
And the jelly bean stuff was, I'll talk about that later, but like, they really made you feel like she is the one. But anyway, it starts off with Archie and he's in his room. This is right after prom, I guess. And he's like going off on his punching bag in his room. And he's just like wailing on it. And he's having these flashbacks about his dad and that time it pops when he was, you know, held at gunpoint by the Black Hood because he watched that video and he's like scarred by it, obviously.
Which I always do appreciate the way they bring Archie's trauma back. It always feels so genuine. Like it always feels like this kid is going through a lot and like it's inside of him and he needs to at like some point get it out. So yeah, like it did. Even for me, it brought the trauma back to me. I was like, holy shit, like that actually did happen to this kid. You're reminded of like
what the shit that he's had to deal with all this time. And we can talk about it in further detail, but like it really does bring it back to like, I don't know if it was on purpose. Obviously, you know, we lost Luke Perry. So The show lost Luke Perry. That was, I don't think, was an expected thing to happen. And it just adds to Archie, the character's trauma, even more so.
Yeah.
And it really just like shot him to like this dark character. Like, I don't think that they maybe would have wanted that for him the entire time, because when his dad almost got shot and he was survived, I think that was the moment that they would have probably held on to. But the fact that Fred's not there to kind of ground him, it keeps making him spiral, like, and he doesn't know what to do. So it, in a sense, works out. But at the same time, we did get this story like quite a few times in the past few seasons. But, the way that it wraps up this episode was like really beautiful, and like how it was explained, I did enjoy that. So anyway, he's getting pissed off. He's so angry. He's trying to get all of his energy out. His mom wakes up and she's like, "What the fuck is happening to you? Like, what's going on?" It's like
in the middle of the night. Like, go to sleep.
Go to sleep. And he's like, "I'm just like super, super charged over prom." And he says that he's going to go for a run. So he's going for a run in the middle of the night. And also what happens in the middle of the night is Betty gets a phone call from none other than Brett from jail. And he basically says, "This is really, really important. I need to get out of jail, and I'll give you some info on like what's going on right now, but you need to transfer me right now. I know that you know Veronica, the person who runs the thing, like just get me out of here." And she says, "Okay, cool. I'll visit you tomorrow.
I'll see you in the morning." And I was like, girl, he ain't going to be alive in the morning. He going to be there. He ain't going to make it 1 hour.
Yeah. So she clicks the phone, whatever. And it shows Archie at his dad's grave, so at Fred's grave. And
the scene broke my heart.
It was such a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah.
He says something along the lines of, you tried to make this like place better every day, and even now it finds a way to insult you and degrade you. And it was like really sad because, he's harking back to the fact that these guys are sending him videos of his dad getting shot, and like his dad is dead. So it's just like a depressing moment for him to have to deal with that.
And I think the way he sort of wrapped it up around like the town, like how he was like, they keep letting you down. Like this craziness is like not what you ever wanted for your town.
Yeah.
It made me so much more emotional, because it was not just like, I miss you, Dad. It was like, I'm trying to live up to your expectations. I'm trying to make this town that you loved so much, like, be fucking normal for like a minute. And it's
for
not.
5 seconds, yeah.
And it just broke my heart. It was like, he just didn't know what else to do. Like, he's like, this shit is too much. Tell the writers to calm down.
Like, chill out. And yeah, so it is a really sad moment of him at his dad's grave. He does visit it a few times this episode. So it was kind of nice that they brought back Fred and his death. And then it cuts to Betty and Jugs the next morning, and they go to prison. And they check in, and Brett is dead. So
the guy like wastes no time. He's like, "Well, that guy, he's dead."
Yeah, I was like, let's just skirt to the fact that he's dead.
Let's just go to the corner, because like we all know
at this point. Just send me a text and tell me that he's there. So yeah, that's what they say. He's at the coroner's office now. He's getting examined. But instead they have to go to school first. So it cuts to Cheryl at school. And it's graduation next episode. So everybody's getting their grad outfits ready. And she gets mad at the person who put them together. Poor woman.
Misspelled.
She's like, "I said this was supposed to be crimson, bitch."
Which, like girl, your school has been blue from time. Like, why would you guys be crimson red?
Like, bring your own. Buy your own. You're like
Riverdale
a millionaire.
Blue Dogs. Yeah.
I don't get it. So she's like yelling at this old lady. And then it kind of like cuts to Archie, and he's like already agitated, even watching Cheryl like fight about something so tiny. Yeah. So like you can tell he's like on edge.
I loved his acting this episode, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
he did a really good job.
Good.
Because it's true, like when you're trying to focus on one thing, but at the same time, like you see all this petty shit happening, you're just like, you guys don't even know
exactly.
What I'm dealing with
like
right
you don't
now.
even know right now. And like the way Veronica was so annoying, and he was like stop. Like he kept getting annoyed at her and everything. And I really truly felt it this episode. I was like, I'm him right now. Like I'm that mood. Like everyone shut the fuck up and like let's solve what's really happening right now instead of worrying about graduation.
So he, like I said, he was like ready to implode. Veronica comes by and she gives him a kiss, and he's like confused and frustrated, and she just says, like, she kind of whispers to him like, "Play along." And that's when Betty and Jughead kind of show up, and Betty's like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, what's wrong, Betty? Everything's wrong. Haven't you seen the whole world right now? We're in quarantine.
Life sucks.
Like, he's like, everything sucks. And yeah, so he kind of storms off. Veronica pulls him away.
I kind of wished a bit more like Betty concern in this moment. Like she could have just been like, hey, are you okay? Like, is everything good? Like, do you want to talk? Or even Jughead to be like, are you good, dude? Like, you guys are best friends. Like, the fact that you don't even like really question it further. I kind of felt like there was a missed opportunity there. But again, like in an episode that's full of so many things, like I get why they can't like hit every single thing.
It's unfortunate because you're right. And I think we've had some comments in the past about the fact that the core four has kind of like split into a duo.
This duos. Episode for sure. Yeah.
And this episode really just shows that they've like really kind of gravitated away from each other. They're not really in each other's lives as constantly as they used to be. So yeah, when they see each other in the hallway, there's nothing else to say. And then they just kind of like make them walk away, which I don't believe, because you're right. Betty is his like long lifetime friend. Yeah. And so is Jughead. So it's hard for me to believe that they would just let him storm off if they knew something was going on with him. But then, of course, this was Veronica's opportunity to remind him, bro, chill out. We're going to fake it till we make it / graduate. And then we're going to move on with our lives. And he's not okay with this plan. He's like, I don't know why you want to do this.
Yeah. Like
he's frustrated. But at this, like, I do understand her perspective of it too. Like, things are gonna come up, and then you're gonna have to try to explain that shit to your best friend. So, you're not manning up and talking to your man about it. So, like, what do you want me to do in this situation? I'm just trying to make everybody happy. So, I get it, but at the same time, yeah, it's true. It's like, and then there's a little quick moment of Tony going up to Cheryl, and she like says, "Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I couldn't stay for prom." She apologizes to her. And she's like, I'll just work on my Nana in the meantime. And Cheryl says, that's totally fine. I get it. I got to take care of some of my own family drama. But Cheryl kind of keeps giving these weird looks. And she did actually give it last episode after she said she wasn't staying for after prom, where it's like she's internalizing what she really wants to say. Like it's this like thing that I don't know if it's, you know, Madeline doing it on purpose or like maybe I'm just reading into it, but like she's like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, she's definitely putting on like a face.
Like a face. Yeah. And like we all know what happens after like she does that too many times. Like Cheryl's gonna fucking explode. So I'm just waiting for that shit to happen. Graduation's just around the corner. So anyways, Tony leaves. It's seemingly good, and we're good to go. Then it cuts to the coroner's office, and they examine the body, and he was stabbed multiple times. But the thing that like is the gag is his eyes were gouged out. So that's supposed to mean something, I guess. But I didn't really pull as to what it meant. No. I did think about the Gargoyle King right away because I felt like that was a connection. And I know that Chick was associated to the Gargoyle King. So anyway, I don't even want to get into Chick right now. But
do we find out later why they took the eyes out?
Well, they say that it has to do, like people who get their eyes gouged out is like you're like a traitor, you're like a rat, like you're
a snitch or something.
Yeah, you're like a snitch. So like you've seen something that you're not supposed to see, whatever.
Right. All right. Okay.
Anyway, so Betty's gagged, and then it cuts to the El Royale. And Archie's just kind of like working out or whatever, and then Hiram like literally fucking lunges out of nowhere.
Like out of the darkness. Like, did you not hear the door open? Like no one's paying attention.
He was like in the ring, and he just like jumped over like WWF.
Where did you come from?
Like what was happening? He like puts him in a headlock. He's like about to beat his ass, and he yells at him. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how could you do that to my daughter? Like with your own.
She's the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah.
Like."
And Archie's just like ready to fight too. And he's like, what, you want a rematch? Like he's like,
and he even says like, he's like typical. He's like, just like your dad. He's like, like, and then I'm like, oh, you're going to die right now.
Wrong shit. You should not have said that right now. He's like, yeah, he says the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Huh? And I was like, ugh.
And then Archie's like,
he's like ready to wail. And then Tom Keller pulls him back.
In another headlock. He's like,
chill.
I'm like, what is this? Like the headlock group? Like he doesn't have other moves.
He's just like going down. And this part made me laugh out loud when Archie says, "Get out of my gym." And then I was like, the gym that he basically bought you and gave you.
Yeah.
You're telling him.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Hiram kind of leaves. Then it cuts to Pop's diner. And Veronica's working. Totally forgot she works.
Because it's like, you
diner.
own this place. So.
Yeah.
And she's taking out the trash.
Trying to make ends meet. Like, she has no, like, where'd Pop go? Like, did he just, like, chill? Like, is he gone? Is he off the roster? Like, what's happening with him? And Hermosa is there as well. And she says, something wrong, Veronica. Like, she says it with such intent. And I was like, okay, chill. And Veronica kind of like slides back and says like, I gotta take out the trash. You're lucky that it's not you too. Yeah. Like that. And I was like, so
she was like, trouble with your gingerito, hermosa, whatever. Like, and I'm like, that's so cute. But also, I missed, like, I kind of wish she had a sister this entire time.
Same.
Because I feel like they're so cute together and like they can take daddy down together. Like they can fight. I feel like it makes more sense for them to fight together against him than like one little 16-year-old girl going against her father.
And I'm surprised they didn't do this earlier.
Yeah,
that was my thing about it. But anyway, it makes sense. Okay. It's the end of the season, whatever.
Yeah.
So as she's taking out the trash, the Malloys from last season, who were the ones that Hiram killed because they attacked him.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, it's another gangster family. They're about to kill Veronica. Like they're
full out gunpoint. Shotgun, like 3 men. Yeah. She's like, I was this is traumatic. Like
this is so bad. Like she's literally about to die.
Say a prayer, you're out. Like that's it.
And then right in that moment, you hear like pop, 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 like with a silencer gun. It wasn't even like a big
Homegirl's ready. Like she was ready for that shit. Fight.
Yeah. And it's Hermosa. And she shot them all dead. And even Veronica was like, Hermosa. Like it was very...
it was like Californians.
Yeah. It was very like that like Spanish like telenovela.
Yeah.
And yeah, Hermosa basically is like, yeah, we'll clean up the bodies. Like, don't worry about it. We're good to go. And I think this is when they say something along the lines of like, daddy needs a conversation or something like that.
Because she was like, wow. She's like, your problem? And she's like, no, they're not. It's not my fault. She's like, it's daddy's problem.
It's daddy's problem.
Or like whatever.
And then it's like, zoom in, Riverdale. Yeah. Then it cuts to Betty and Jughead with Charles at home. And he... like they I guess conclude that it was David, the video guy, who put a hit on him in jail, but now David's missing, so like they're not sure where he is. I love when
these mysteries get to a point where like they start having to explain it to themselves because they don't even know how deep they are. They're like, oh right, so David the guy went here and he did this, and you literally have the audience like us, we're like
right.
Okay. Like, just get to the point. Like, just be done with it. Like, nobody cares. You really don't have to explain yourself.
Second time in a row that we hear David's name. Yeah. We've never heard it ever before. So Charles mentions, like, he's going to go look for him. He's going to bring his team together to see if he can find David because now he's missing. Then it cuts to Cheryl at home, and she's on a quarantine Zoom call with her entire family.
Love this. This was amazing.
I was like, this is so great. It was a really good scene. So basically she tells all of her cousins or the family that she wants to rebrand and restart the maple business, but it's going to, like, a section of the land is going to go to, like, the First Nations of Riverdale, which is, like, Tony's family. And kind of like reparations in that sense. And she's going to lead it.
Can you remind me, didn't they go clean last season? Like, didn't she have that whole maple syrup business last season where like she turned the business into an actual business?
I guess she has another stake, like another section that she wanted to use, but she can't make those decisions without the family deciding. Okay. I don't know. I didn't really
because I was like, I thought they already did that. Like I know the land part. I guess they wanted to give the land away to like that, community, but I didn't. Right. I was like, I thought she already the business went clean.
No idea. You're asking the wrong person, and I'm the one that takes.
No, because even Twitter, like,
I still have no idea.
Even on Twitter, people were like, we thought she already went clean. Like, we thought the business was like doing maple syrup. Like, that was it.
No idea. I think maybe it has to do with the fact that they have to sell some of the land. Yeah, she's like giving the land back to Riverdale or something. Anyway, they all say no. And she's like, why? And that woman in the middle is like going off and she's like, and then she like mutes her. And the guy's like, well, you basically killed our cousin like at your house. So this is like your retribution for that.
Yeah.
And so she's pissed off. Then it cuts to the lodge residence and Veronica goes to Hermione. We get another father-mother-daughter moment, or daughters moment, I guess. And Veronica's like, Mom, did you know that Daddy's like a gangster still? And I was like,
a mafioso.
I'm pretty sure that she still knows.
Yeah. She's like, yeah.
She's like, you know his ways. And Hermione goes, like, what do you need from me? And they say that they need her shares of the company. Plus they need his like little black book of underworld contacts because they want to like take him down. And Hermione's like, I'm down for a hostile takeover. And I was like, yeah, of course, because you're literally doing nothing else with your life
like,
right
that's
now. So
it.
sure. Then it cuts to Charles and Betty and Jughead, and they end up back at a cabin. I don't know if it's the same cabin, like the same cabin's being reused, whatever. But it's David, and he's dead. He's being hung. He's got like the mask on, and he has like something on his shirt that says, God is watching. And Betty just feels like something's off. She's like, this feels too neat. She's like, I've been to 1.2 million different crime scenes since season 1. I know exactly when something's not right. And yeah, she just thinks something's fishy. Of course, then again, it like zooms close in on Charles's face as she's like figuring it out and saying it out loud. So of course, at that point too, I was like, okay, like he's either going to try to kill them or he's going to like tell them the truth at some point soon. Then it cuts to Archie and his mom, and she goes to him and says, the guy who killed Fred, the dad of the guy who killed Fred, he's pleading guilty, but he will get a lesser sentence if you write like a nice letter saying like, you know, he didn't mean it, whatever. And Archie's just like, yo, I've been like traumatized by this whole situation. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And she's just like, think about it. So that's that scene. And then it cuts to Hiram with his girls in his office. And they basically tell him, like, you need to retire for our safety and yours, which was a really good point. And I don't know why he didn't just hear that and say, yes, for not just for you, but also for your family who you're trying to fucking protect. And he says, he makes some stupid ass excuse. He's like, reverting back to my true primal nature has given me like the strength of whatever.
Like it does, and I love how Veronica was like, that makes no medical sense. Like that makes no fucking sense, Dad. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah. It's like the mafia boss, like the mafia doctor told him, like, as long as you
how can you be physical when you physically have like an ailment? Like, how do you do that?
Doesn't make any sense at all. So he says, all I need to do my business is my fist and a gun. And I was like, what the fuck? And he tells them to leave, and they're like, okay, I guess we have to come up with another plan. Then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Jughead gets accepted to the University of Iowa. Congratulations, Jughead. Everybody's happy, everybody's excited, and they go to celebrate at Pop's and buy as many burgers as he wants.
Yeah.
And of course, again, like I said, everything's leading in this episode because they didn't know how to tie the story together. There's like a close zoom in on Jelly Bean, kind of like as everybody's walking away, and she's like, Meh.
Yeah.
So we know that something's happening. Then it cuts to Cheryl and her mom at the
Why
sex
do they
dungeon.
do that though? Why do they do why don't they just zoom in on her face? Like why not zoom in on her face?
I think it has to do with the fact that like if we did not do that, then you would never get it. You would never make any connection to it.
Yeah, but I almost feel like they do it in the episode where they're gonna reveal it. So it's like, I already know now. Like, thanks. Like, if you guys had made it more subtle, like throughout episodes, maybe not back to back, but like just subtle, very, very subtle hints. They make it so blaringly obvious. I don't know. I don't know if that's just because like their demographic Riverdale, is like younger.
Subtle. So like Riverdale ain't subtle, girl. Like that is like the opposite of what they do. So yeah, it's true. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, but at the same time, like, they wanted you to wrap it into this episode. So then it cuts to Cheryl and her mom at the sex dungeon. I don't even know what it's called anymore. And Cheryl's basically sad about the family stuff. She's like, we need to find a way to get redemption for this family. Like, we've had so much shit happen to our family, and like we've done so much bad stuff. And Penelope says, like, sassy Penelope goes, they have always been a bunch of hateful bitches. And I'm like, there's our Penelope.
Yep.
And she says, get out of here for the weekend. Like, get out of here for a hot minute, but you have to bring an alibi. So obviously she knows something's about to go down. Obviously we as the audience know, like, she's about to fucking kill everybody.
I mean, I did not know she was about to do a massacre of the fucking family.
I fully was like, she's just going to kill everyone. She doesn't give a shit at this point. Like, she doesn't care. She's living in a wall at this point. Like, she fucking doesn't give a shit. She's like, I'll kill everybody. I don't care. She's fucking nuts. So then it cuts really quickly to Cheryl asking Tony if she wants to get away for the weekend. Tony's like, yep, I'm down. Again, really quickly as a quick pause, I know that this is leading to like a CHONI something, but I do feel like their storyline this episode was like very weak. Like we've seen such strong moments of these two that to see these moments where like, you want to get away for the weekend? Like, it didn't lead to anything. We didn't get to see anything.
Yeah, like, and they had to explain it, right? Like, because she was like, we're not broken up, but like, we're also not like together yet. But like, we're just working on things. Like, I'm still trying to work on my grandma. So like, it was kind of in this middle weird.
But you can still get away for the weekend to be her alibi.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even tell her like, I need an alibi because my mom's about to go kill everybody. She just like kind of like says, you want to go away for the weekend. Like, you'd think that she'd be like in it with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is me nitpicking now. So then it cuts to Archie at home, and he's like at his desk and he's trying to write this letter. And then he has a flashback as he's writing of the moment that he's like confronting the guy who killed his dad, or he thinks he killed his dad. And that moment where like the camera switches and it's his son who's like, it was me, it was my fault. And he looks at, you know, the dad and whatever. And as he's remembering this moment, he decides to crumple up the piece of paper and throw it in the trash. Just like that song. Barchie. Then it cuts to Betty. And she gets another phone call in the middle of the night. This time it's from Donna at a payphone. And she's like, I need your help. I need to get away. I need you to help me out. Joan is dead. Brett is now dead. Someone's killing all of us. And Betty basically says like,
why is Betty the first person that you would call? You literally tried to murder her boyfriend and her. Like, why is that the first person you call? Call the freaking police. Call like
anybody.
Your parents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, why are you calling Betty?
But I think she knew at that point because she was like, I'll tell you the information about what, like, who's killing them. And if it's an FBI agent, then obviously you're not out here.
Right.
But then also, if your brother is the FBI agent, then like maybe don't call the sister of the guy who's trying to kill you.
Right.
Because he will kill you too. Anyway, Betty doesn't care. I was actually waiting for her to call her a bitch because like that's her thing with Donna. Calling her a stupid bitch. She just hangs up the phone and like goes back to sleep. Then the next morning, Betty calls Joan's family, and it turns out that Donna was right. Joan is dead. She was murdered. She got hit in the head with a rock on the way home.
Walking alone at night through a forest. Yeah. Good job, girl. Very smart decision of you.
Exactly. So she's dead. So Betty's kind of realizing like what happened is true. And that means that Donna really is in danger. Why she cares? Big question mark. Like, I would be like, cool, you try to kill my boyfriend. So like, bye. Like, you deserve to die. Then it cuts to Veronica and Hermosa talking. And they come up with a new plan. They're like, last time Zaddy needed the help that he like asked you for. Like, he called you up and you helped him out. This time you don't do that, and we're gonna have to do something different. So they're coming up with this plan. Then it cuts to the El Royale, and Archie's doing paperwork or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. He's like
doing the math,
the bills. Like, I don't know. And Mr. Augustine comes in, and he says that his son has now confessed to the murder. So if you're gonna write a letter, like, write it for my son because like, he might get a lesser sentence now because they're gonna charge him as an adult.
Yeah.
And Archie has a moment that I was really interested to hear what your opinion is. He says, yeah, your son killed my dad, but I would have never kept driving and I would have never left him alone. Which is something that I don't think he ever raised. Like that idea that, like, you know, like the idea of forgiveness was the first time that he confronted him. But this idea that like his son would have never done that. Or him, Archie would have never done that. So like, why did he do it? Mr. Augustine does say like the kid is like 5 years old. Like he was obviously scared, but it's something that Archie obviously says like, you guys figure it out yourselves. Like I'm not.
Yeah. Interesting point, because when that scene started, I didn't know where they were going with it and how he was going to react.
Right.
Definitely thought he would just be like, don't worry. Yeah, I'll do it. Like I'm good. Like I got you. Yeah. But when he said that, I was like, wow, like he gave this so much more thought. Mm-hmm. Where was that thought? Like when this all happened, they never really introduced that part of it. But I love that he said that. I think ultimately, you know, we know that he's going to get there. He's going to save this kid, of course. But I think in that moment for him to say like, yeah, but I would have never done that. I would have helped that guy. It was good. I liked it. It was more powerful that way too.
For sure. So then it cuts to Jughead and Betty, and they get another video at home, and they pop it into the VCR, and it's a video of everybody in the house sleeping, and the camera is literally like going
like
up to their
in
faces.
Their face, guys. Like you could see the hair.
Yeah, like they're cuddling, and their faces are there. Jelly Bean is in the video as well, so it shows Jelly Bean, and there's actually a knife that kind of like traces over her face, and she's like, is that me? Am I sleeping? Is that me with the knife? And I was like, it's you, girl. Right away I was like, it's obviously you. like
who else nobody
does that. Yeah, you made it so obvious that it was you.
Wait, but she's the one that did that?
No, I mean, she got one of her friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
I was like, wait, she like held the camera and like did like, it?
She like held a cell phone and then held the knife to her face. No, so they all get scared. I mean, it does work for a hot second. They all get scared and they leave. I guess they stay at the 5 seasons or something. I have no idea.
Like FP was up in here throwing his credit card, like throwing the cash, like
we gotta go.
I'm like, man, like when did this guy get so much money?
I'm like, didn't he retire? He's not even a sheriff anymore.
Like how does he? Yeah, he wants to buy everyone Pops dinners. He wants to go to 5 seasons. I'm like, damn,
he's doing everything.
Big spender.
Big spender. It's the Alice money. I feel like it's like the Alice Chang Chang.
Yeah, she's paying for it.
Then it cuts to Veronica, and she's just cleaning up at the Bon Nuit, and Hiram calls or texts her and says like, come home. I need your help. She comes home, and he's like all bloodied up. He looks like he's about to die.
Guys, he looked like a bear attacked him, and then like threw him in the water, and like a shark bit him. Yeah, and it's like he's like,
like every single layer.
He's like, can you grab me a Band-Aid? She's like, dude, like, do you see your like body?
Go to the fucking doctor, dude. Go to the hospital. Like that's the thing too. It was like, why is he going to his daughter? Go. Yeah, to, like, he's like, you own everything.
He's like, can you get me the first aid kit like last time?
Like last time, help me.
I love when you wrap my Band-Aids.
Help me. And she basically is like, no, bitch, I'm not doing it for you this time.
She was like about to, and then she's like, no.
No. She says, you're a dog. And I was like, oh shit, I would never call my dad a dog. I'd fucking beat my ass. And she's like, you're a dog that needs to be trained. When a dog pees on the floor, you rub his face in it. And I was like, okay. It's very, very specific in terms of what her like vision was. And she says he should exit gracefully instead of like a dog on the street. So she's just trying to make that dog reference. And
she's trying to make it work.
Yeah, she's trying to make it work. It almost didn't. So she leaves, and he's just like sitting there sad like a dog, I guess. And she goes to her room, and it turns out that Hermosa was the one who like called people up to get his ass beat.
Yeah.
And Ronnie's like, why the fuck is he like, he literally looks like he's about to die. Like, how badly did they beat him up? And Hermosa basically says he needed to learn a lesson. I put a question here and I ask, is Hermosa planning something bigger?
I don't know. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she was. But at this point, this far into the series, are we even going to see Hermosa in the flash forward? Like, probably not. Like, do we care?
And also, my question is like, why are you doing this to your father, the one who like funded your entire life, like a secret, this entire time? Anyway, then it cuts to Cheryl, and she comes home. She's like back from her trip or whatever, and she's like, Nana, why are you all in black? Did somebody die? And Nana basically is like, I'm mourning the loss of all the blossoms. They all poisoned themselves. There was a note in one of your cousin's pockets that saying that they're atoning for their sins. And Penelope literally like comes out of the wall. Like she literally like emerges like, from the wall. Here I am. I was like, what the I was like, this is too much.
I was listening to like another podcast and they were saying how like Taken, Penelope must have brought Nana out, placed her there, and then went back in the wall, closed the door, and then waited for Cheryl to come home and then come out again.
Yeah, and waited for her to call her out. She didn't even come out on her own accord. She wasn't like surprised. She was like waiting by the door, like, is Cheryl gonna call me?
Yeah,
I'm gonna make an entrance.
Cute.
Here I am. And she basically says, like, I did it, like, happy graduation. Now you can do whatever you want with the company. So, like people were probably saying like happy graduation. Like people were probably saying online, like, why did we have to have this moment again? I don't know. I guess it is to like wrap in that whole idea that like now Cheryl's gonna try her best to like do right for Tony.
Do you think this will come back and like bite Cheryl's ass? Like, do you think the cops will legit come down and be like, you murdered your entire family?
No, I don't. I mean, I can see it happening because like Penelope's a monster, but at the same time, I don't know. The problem that I have with Penelope is we were stuck with deciding whether or not she was a good character or not the entire time. Like, are you good now? Are you trying to atone for your sins against your daughter? Are you trying to make good with her? Or are you just doing it because you're crazy? Like this bitch literally tried to kill the entire like cast,
like the whole show
just 2 seasons ago, and now she's just like atoning for whatever.
Look, but like, is she even atoning for it? Like, she just massacred the whole family. Like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, you're insane.
She just like loves to murder people. I have no idea.
I feel like it's a little. They kind of make it funny, and it shouldn't be funny. Like.
I agree.
Like there should be consequences.
There should be consequences,
or like
for sure.
Almost consequences where like the cops may come or whatever. Like it just felt like a joke. She was like, okay, she's like, I killed everyone now.
She's like, tee-hee.
And I'm like, but why would you lose from like the time? Like you should have killed your husband from a long time ago and like his family, and like you would have had the empire. Why'd you wait so long?
What you doing with your life, girl? And I mean, that is a good question. Like, what are you doing with your life, girl? Like, what is the future of Penelope?
Exactly. It's one of those storylines where you're like, okay. And what?
And
like,
what are you doing?
Because we could have had a flash forward where Cheryl, like, got the company ultimately without killing everyone. She could have just said, oh, like, she's like, I sued everyone and, like, I bought the company or whatever. Like, they could have just done that. So, like, for them to kind of veer off and have this moment where, like, they killed everyone, it's a little weird. It makes me feel like they might be coming back to Cheryl to be like, you killed your family.
Maybe. I mean, I hope that's not the case. I hope that we're done with this story for sure. Then it cuts to Betty and Jughead, and everybody's sleeping in the hotel, and they're trying to figure things out. They're like, this is so weird. Like, who bugs phones? Like, what? Like, who else does this? I can't believe
it took it to this point for them to be like, wait a minute.
Long. But I mean, I guess it does make sense. Like, Charles has been so close to all the cases. Like, he's played it right this whole time up until this point, I guess. So she's like, we got to go back home. I have an idea. I think I know who it is. So it cuts back to the Cooper res, and Betty's sitting on the couch, and Charles comes in. Gagged, not gagged. Obviously, we're not gagged, right?
Not gagged.
Like, you're not gagged.
Not gagged. Like,
not gagged
let's be real. We were not surprised. It was only ever going to be him, obviously. And we were discussing this like really quickly last night. Like, because we knew probably for an episode or two now that it's probably going to be Charles. They've literally paid this actor for a full season and a half.
For what?
You're telling me they're not going to make him that guy?
Yeah.
They're going to make him that guy. They wouldn't have paid the guy if he was the guy.
They would have given the money. Come on, give the money. Yeah.
Come on. Like, you got
what you doing? No, but, I mean, it did make sense, but I hated it.
It didn't make sense. And like I was telling you, I wish the way it was revealed was better. Like 100%. Give me some some sick sequence with like fast like music and like she's running to the house and like he's like you don't see him or something, like something really cool. Yeah. Where then again it's revealed that it's him and you're like, oh, like she's about to die or whatever the case may be, because we all knew it was him. I'm looking at Twitter and everyone knew that it was going to be him. Yeah. So like no one's really gagged at this point. And is really anyone gagged ever with their reveals?
I mean,
like, it's
in
never
a sense,
like
some of them did gag me. I feel like Hal maybe was something. Yeah, maybe with
Hal. Yeah, okay.
Interesting. And there was a fight. Like at least there was a fight. Charles literally sits there and is like, "Yes, it was me. I did it, and that is the end of the story." And I'm like, "What?" Like.
Just like that. With that
how
accent.
are you giving up your fucking FBI agent? I don't understand how you just like gave up all the answers. And he does say like I didn't kill everybody. I just killed Brett and Joan. And I also killed David. Sorry about it. But he's like, they're bad people.
He's like, I only killed like bad people. Like, have you seen Dexter? That's me.
That's me. I'm Dexter. And it's really annoying because I think they were trying to like bring in that whole idea, like that Hal had this whole concept of like the good and the evil and the God, and like the God told me to kill people, and that's why everybody had on their signs like God is watching. And I'm like, you're gonna tell me that Charles thinks that he's a fucking God loving man when he's like fucking anyway. I just couldn't even deal with it. I was like, this is so stupid. It's I think part 2 of the second season. With it
and like what's gonna happen, like are they gonna call the cops on him? He's the FBI.
Yeah
like, they do, so like what happens now?
They do say like they're gonna call the cops on him and like he's gonna get arrested and he's gonna like live out his days. And this is the annoying part. Okay, Charles says like I did it only to bad people, like Brett was a bad person, but then Betty goes, but he got what he deserved, like he went to jail for that. But then I'm like, but you were also ready to let Donna die, possibly. Like, so, like, how do you feel, Betty? Like, really? Like, what's your real problem with this issue? Like, she's not, like, the compass of morality either. Yeah. That's where I'm, like, coming from it, too, you know?
I don't know. But like, I was fine that he killed them, like, the preppies. I was like, good for you.
Same.
Like, you did it because they were evil. They were gonna kill Jughead. Like, that's fine. I just... Like, I don't get it, all of it. Like why did you do this?
Why did you do any of it? I mean, it's giving him that purpose, and it really does tie in the fact that he had like Chick on the inside.
Did he only do this because of Chick? Like, because he met Chick, and like did he kill people before in this?
Yeah, I think the assumption is that he's like this like Dexter like vigilante who goes around and like kills people who are bad. That being said, like Chick got into some dumb shit too. Like you'd think that he would have killed Chick because Chick like killed innocent people too.
Yeah, I guess because he's in love with him or
helped. And he's like, true love knows no boundaries. I'm like, bitch, don't start with me.
Do not bring love into this.
Don't be bringing another gay relationship into this like fucking dysfunctional fucking shit right now. Okay. I was just so annoyed by like what he was saying, and he was like, I was your blind spot. And Betty says,
I mean, he kind of was though, because like they didn't suspect him at all.
But we didn't. We suspected and we didn't care. That was the issue.
Yeah, I wish I could just like re-edit the episode because like it was all the way they just revealed it. It just could have been more really exciting. Bad. You know,
it was the worst. I will say it's probably the worst serial killer murder mystery reveal they've ever done on the show ever. Like, I was really disappointed as to, like, even the Gargoyle King, which was so much fuckery, made more sense and, like, was more riveting to watch than this whole, like, oh, these preppies got killed. And, like, I don't know, man. I was just I was disappointed in how they, like, kind of, like, wound his character up and then suddenly it's, like fart. Yeah. Fart noise.
You know, it's so good being on Twitter, like, the night that it airs and, like, you're kind of, like, chatting with all these people and, like, trying to see what everyone like the fandom is saying. And so many people were like, why is it always with their like big mysteries it kind of just falls so weak at the end, like so flat? And like, yeah, you're right, like the Gargoyle King was exciting, but like I feel like they just drag it on for so 100%.
Oh my god.
And by that point everyone's done, like everyone's like, let's please just move on, like solve it, figure it out, end it. And maybe that's just because they started right at the beginning of a season and they want to end it at the end of a season or whatever. So it's like 22 episodes of the same sort of mystery. I think the assumption, I don't know how to get around that.
The assumption is that he only killed the Preppy, so literally like his murders were like wrapped into one episode. So like it is pretty fast, but that's what I mean. There's no tension if you just do like one episode of murders and then it turns out that the murder at the end of the episode, I'm like, what am I watching? Murder, She Wrote? Like this is like, why am I watching like something that's so self-encapsulated?
Oh, so he only killed Brett, from what this episode.
Yeah, from what we know, he only killed Brett and he only killed like Joan this episode. So it's not like they slowly started going missing and like Betty kind of heard about it. It was just like out of nowhere, this is what's happening. He just
like felt constipated and he's like, I gotta
go do something now.
Yeah, I gotta kill everyone right now.
Also, another plot hole, and I know we've mentioned this already, and it's still bullshit to me because they brought it up in the previously on, and I was like, this is bullshit. The serial killer gene, if you're going to bring up the motherfucking serial killer gene and say that that's a thing, then make sure that it's connected to the right fucking parent, because technically Alice is the mother that's connecting all of the kids. It's not Hal. It's not Hal's kid. And Hal is the one who has the serial killer gene. So,
oh my God.
Unless it came from Alice, which I don't think that we confirmed that was the case, because Hal was crazy. He was the one with the serial killer gene. So if Charles,
I guess they're not.
I just didn't get it.
I guess they're not insinuating. Oh wait,
they do.
Hold on.
Hold on. The calculator. Like,
Chick is the kid. No, Chick is no one's kid. Chick doesn't have parents.
Yeah, he was a fake kid. He was fake Charles.
Charles is the son of Alice and FP.
Right. Not
Hal had the serial killer gene.
Right.
Betty has the serial killer gene.
From
Hal. But I guess Alice got it too because she gave it to Charles.
How did she get it?
She just got it.
Every blonde person in this fucking town has
it. You're right. Like, Polly has it too. Yeah. Polly got the double dose. She got the double dose.
She doubled down.
Got it from the dad and the mom.
I don't know, man. This is crazy.
No, you're right. And honestly, like, Twitter was going off. They're like, guys, I thought we left this serial killer gene in the past. Please don't bring it into season 5.
Especially, like I said, when it does not make any goddamn sense. It doesn't make
any sense. And like, honestly, if you're like a 14-year-old kid watching this show, and like, let's say you have like darkness, whatever, you're like, oh my God, there could be a serial killer gene. You're like, wait. Like that could mislead someone. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. So whack, man. Anyway, let's cut
if they ever Googled it, is there a serial killer gene? It's gonna be like in Riverdale. Betty's dad had a serial killer gene.
As defined in episodes, blah blah blah.
Yeah, please refer to.
It's like the Wikipedia reference mark.
Yeah.
Let's cut to one of my favorite scenes of the entire episode, the lodge residence. And this is when Hiram talks about stepping down with his entire family. He says, listen, I thought about what you guys were saying, and like, what is that going to look like? And basically Veronica says, Hermosa's going to take over. I'm going to go back to school, and you can take a vacation and just chill. And he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Cayman Islands with Kelly Ripa. I think it'll be great. And he like turns to Hermione and he's like, you gonna come, girl? Like, are we going together?
He's like, what about that, mamacita or something? And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. So like, it's a cute ending. And she's like, fuck no. And
she's like, absolutely not. She's like, I'm not gonna join you. And then she has the most.
This is where the show goes down Looney Road, Looney Crescent, down this way. Like, when did this show become an ad for Bravo and Andy Cohen? No, like, I don't understand.
It was the weakest fucking thing. Well, we knew. Okay, so really quickly, to quickly defend it, we knew that Marisol Nichols was going to dip from the show, right? After the end of last season.
Right.
That was what was kind of like the decision. what they decided to do to make her leave the show, I cannot even deal.
Okay, so let's explain the scene. So Puppy's like, I'm gonna go to Cayman Islands. He's like, come with me, boo. Like, you're gonna look so cute in a bikini. Yeah. And she's like, hell no. She's like, it is my time to live my life. Do you remember last season when Andy Cohen came to see me? Well, now he's offering me a job on the New York Housewife franchise on Bravo TV Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. I'm gonna go on it. And Veronica's like, I'm like, what is this? Feels so weird. I feel like it's an ad for Bravo right now.
I was
like
dying.
It was so weird. Like, and also kind of insulting because I was like, is that really her dream? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I expected so much more from Hermione. Like, I wanted her to be like, no, like, I'm starting my own business. I'm gonna go to New York and I'm gonna start this whole thing. Like, you're telling me this whole time her dream was to be a New York housewife?
was to become a housewife of New York? Like, I literally wrote down, because she says, I don't really see, she even says, I really don't see the need to put my ambitions on hold anymore. And I was like, your ambition was to be a real housewife?
To me, like, yes, don't get me wrong. Like, I died of laughter. Like, Twitter was going off. It was funny. Yeah. But like, when you look at it as a whole, when you look at it as like a character, which we love Hermione Lodge. Yeah. Like, I love her. Even in this episode, she was amazing. And for her to have, again, this weak spin where she's just like, I wanted to be a housewife. I'm like, really?
Like, she could have, like, what happened to the whole mob boss ass bitch moment, like, that she had like 2 seasons ago? Instead you went to fucking Andy fucking Cohen, who was in one goddamn episode, and that was her.
I honestly, truth be told, JLAG, like, I honestly feel like Bravo was like, we will pay you.
We will fund you.
We want your demographic to know who we are and what our show is about. Please, like, insert this into your show.
Like, watch it.
We will. Because it just felt so stupid and random.
It was like an advertisement, literally.
Yeah.
It was so annoying.
It was very weird.
And also, she says that she's divorcing Hiram, so technically she's not really a real housewife anymore.
Which is fine, because like none of them are. Like, basically all of them are like divorced. That's fine. But again, I just think rooting for a female character like Hermione, who like we absolutely do love, they could have had so many other ways of like throwing her character like over here for a hot minute in case she ever were to come back later on or whatever.
And here's some controversial questions for you. Knowing that she decided to leave this show, right? Like, she went and had this conversation with RS and said, you know what, boy, I'm not staying on the show. You don't give me enough lines. My storylines are weak. Do you think that this was his version of being like, go fuck yourself, girl?
That's You're gonna really good question.
Written off the show like this, you know? Like, because I feel like you would do that to someone that you like spite. Like, you'd be like, yeah, she died, or like she went onto a reality TV show. Or was Marisol like, that sounds great. What a great idea for Hermione Lodge, who's one of the most boss ass bitches we've ever seen on the show, suddenly fade into like literally nothing.
They should have been like they're resurrecting mob wives, and I'm going to be the starring. Like, I would have been like, yes, like that makes more sense. I'm producing the show, or something. Like, give me some
boss moment. And so she's like, I'm going to be a cast member on The Real Housewives of New York. Yeah, like, come on.
I was just like, where is this coming from? And honestly, like, I just feel like the demographic doesn't even know what nobody, like, I just feel like there's an age group where like they don't watch Real Housewives.
I mean, so to your point, like, now they'll be like, Hermione, are you here? Riverdale said that they're going to be here. Is KJ Apa here? Is Hermione? Is Veronica here? They're literally.
I laughed so hard my headphones came off. Hermione, are you here? Like, they're gonna watch the intro and they're gonna be like, "Where's Hermione's intro?"
She's holding an apple. Yeah,
a milkshake.
Oh my god! Yeah, totally.
Anyways, yeah.
So then it cuts to Archie and his mom at home, and this moment was also like very extreme. His mom is in the living room, and she's playing the tape because she found it, I guess, in his room, and she's watching it, and it's the one of like Archie being held at gunpoint, and she like freaks out. She's like, was this how you were feeling? Like, is this what trauma you were dealing with this whole time? I'm like, yeah, girl, you didn't have to watch like a fake movie to like know what your son was going through.
But you know what? I loved it too. At the same time, I just felt like finally she was seeing things the way he was seeing and feeling things. And I don't know why it took a VHS video to like get her to that point.
That's what I'm saying.
But it did. And it was like really emotional and like really powerful.
So she goes on to say that she calls Uncle Frank, which I also was confused by because I thought he like disappeared without a trace.
And I thought she like hated him. him. So she, like,
yeah, I think they amended things before he left, but I know for a fact, like, he left without saying anything to anybody. He was like, I'm running away from the police. Like, I'm not staying here. And he disappeared. So, like, how did she even get his number?
Yeah.
So she's like, I called him up because I know that you're going through some issues. And he's like, you know what? You don't have to see any of this. He grabs a tape from the VHS. He snaps it in half and he throws it on the floor. But that is not enough.
No, that is not
enough. But
when there's a baseball
more
around the corner.
He grabs the baseball and he smashes the TV. And I'm like, why are you so filled with rage that you get to smash the TV? Like, for me, I was like...
It was excessive. It was a little too much.
It was excessive, and it was also like, RAS was like, we need him smashing a TV for the promo. Like, that is what we need. Because that's what we got. Yeah. We literally got that shot. But I was just like, there's no need for him to have gone that far.
Nope, you're totally right. It's just for that moment.
It's literally just for that moment, and that was it was a bit of overkill for me. Anyway, she freaks out. She's like, what's going on? I want to like get to know you, my son. And
I want to get to know you.
She's just crying. Like it was a sad moment. Like,
no, it was super sad. Yeah.
I was like, it is something that a lot of parents have to deal with. Like, their kids just being completely out of control. And it's funny because Archie doesn't like start breaking down and crying. He just like walks into the darkness and like leaves the scene.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Betty and Jughead at home. And Jughead's like, how are you doing, Betty? Like, and she's like, well, another one of my brothers is a serial killer. She's like,
add it to the list.
Cooper family, we're fucked. And it was funny because she did mention the fact that her mom, Alice, she's like, not only was her fake son like a serial killer, like her real son was a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking shitty moment to like live through.
Like, what did you do wrong?
And that's the thing.
You
like,
went into a cult and like almost killed yourself and your daughter.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Maybe Alice has it too.
Yeah, Jesus. Maybe she does have it at this point. But it did make me miss seeing Alice as much as we used to. I don't know about you, but
and
we've totally detracted from the parents, and I get it. Like, you want to focus on the kids, it's their last year, whatever. But like, we had so many great moments with these characters, and they're not just like D-list actors or like good actors. Like Machen Amick is like one of my she's so fantastic on the show. So even if we got a moment where FP and Alice are like mourning the loss of another son that they found, who also turns out to be a serial killer, like, that's a pretty powerful thing to.
It's funny that you're saying it.
You know.
Yeah, it's funny that you're saying that because they are in my recap roundups, and if you keep listening, you'll understand why. But I totally agree, and that's why I have them in there.
Yeah,
I just felt like they were way too in the back.
Yeah, 100%. So they're still trying to figure out. They're like, I can't believe that he's not the auteur. I also thought it was really funny because you can tell that Lily Reinhardt doesn't know how to say auteur. She was like, the author. I
didn't notice that.
Say it myself. So
auteur.
The last time she says it, she's like, I really thought he was the author. I was like, okay. It's okay, girl. It's almost over. Don't worry.
It's almost over.
Then it cuts to Archie and Uncle Frank in Archie's room. Uncle Frank comes in, and I was like, Daddy, okay, here we go. So he comes in, he's pissed. Like, well, he's not pissed. He's like, Archie's pissed.
Yeah.
Frank is not pissed.
Yeah.
Frank is more just like, what's going on with you?
You good, bro.
You good, bro. And he's like, get out all of that anger.
Yeah.
And Archie just like goes off on him. He starts punching him. And like, Frank is like, ugh, like, he's so strong. And I was like, yeah, you are.
He's so strong.
Then he finally like kind of gets tired and they hug, and that's it. Like, but I will say, going back to what we were saying earlier, like, it's hard because Archie's story is such a painful and dark tale. Like, his dad gets shot, he was there, and then his dad actually dies and he wasn't there, and like he's had to deal with so much as a kid, like a 17-year-old kid, this poor character, that it's hard for me to feel like one part of me is like, we already seen this, but then the other part of me is like, yes, it's cyclical. Yes, it's like grief and sadness doesn't just go away overnight. It's only been like
a year and a half or 2 years.
It's only been a year, like since Fred died and / Luke Perry died, and like we have to keep reminding ourselves that like this is really what people would go through if this was real.
You know, it's one of those things where I feel like they've written his trauma and they've written his story perfectly. Like his story always makes sense. I know he gets a little crazy sometimes, like it's Archie, but I still feel like what he's going through makes total sense.
It's
and it makes me feel so many emotions. And then you have this other crazy ass, weird ass show going on the other side, and you're like, what is going on? Like that doesn't make me feel at all what his storyline is making me feel. And why is that? Like why does his feel so genuine and real, and this one just feels like so cuckoo?
Yeah, 100%. Like I messaged, like, I think when we were talking yesterday offline, I was like, yeah, Archie, like if I could focus on this, I'd be like, this is a really sad moment. But then like just 5 minutes ago, you were telling me that like your serial killer brother Gene is in another part of the family, and then like
it's like what,
it's
guys?
It's just so whack.
And ultimately, like the end of the episode, I felt like I'm like Archie is the soul and heart of this show, and you can just see it from this episode. Like he pulls everyone back into like what the show truly should be about.
It is crazy because, you know, we used to say the same thing and they used to say the same thing about Fred / Luke Perry. So it's almost like over this year, over the season, like he's kind of taken on like the helm of like what Riverdale really stands for, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to Bughead, they go to Jelly Bean's room. She's unpacking and turns out she is the auteur. Where you
No. At that point, you know who else is it gonna be at this point? Like, there's nobody else.
Yeah, there's literally
even
nobody
Charles
else.
Was like, it's not me. Like, I swear.
He's like, but you'll know who it is because it's another family member. I was
and
like,
they have the gene that you can smell. Like
everybody got the gene, y'all. You got it. You got it. You got it. Like I was just like, this is too much. Too many people have this like craziness in their body. Like, can everybody just chill the fuck out? So she basically, so it does turn out that she's the one that made the tapes. And I wrote down, where is all this coming from? We do find out later why. I still feel like the reasoning is a little weak, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Finally, it finishes off with Archie's a bit where Archie, Frank, and the mom, Mary, are sitting at the table. And Frank talks to Archie and says, like, I know you're going through a lot of shit. I know it's really hard. What you're trying to deal with and what you're trying to heal from, it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it never goes away. And I thought that was really powerful. So just going back into that whole concept of, you know, what he's had to deal with all of his youth and what he has to deal with, it was really sad. And he does say that he's decided that he's going to turn himself in for the crimes that he was doing as a
mercenary,
whatever, assassin, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess like Frank is going to stay around, or maybe he'll be in the time jump. Like, I don't know. But I guess I think it's also just like speaks to like Archie finally having like a male figure in his life who like is taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Is a little bit closer to like who his dad embodied.
Yeah.
Which I thought was good for him. Then it cuts to FP and Jughead, and they're talking at a restaurant or something. And he says, like, yeah, Jellybean was the one that was videotaping everybody. And FP's like, go, what? Like, he was so gagged, like everybody else was.
Yeah.
And he basically says, like, she did it because she wanted, like, she wanted him to stay. She wanted Jughead to stick around. And after it all started to spiral out of control, like when he got like the first like letter to the private school, to Stonewall, and then like it just got worse and worse once he like started to
like it didn't have to get so violent, Jellybean. It could have just been like,
it was nuts what she did.
Hey brother, like, I miss you.
Like, let's just be real. Like she was,
it was like too much
crazy. Like what she did was nuts. He says that like she found out about the Blue Velvet through Ricky, who like she used to play Dungeons and Dragons with,
and they had to literally guys go back and show those scenes because like everyone's probably like, who, like what,
who are you talking about? Yeah. And I was like, and I think I said it a few episodes ago. I'm like, why are they wrapping Jelly Bean into all of this dumb shit? Like, why can't she just be a normal kid?
You know what I think? If the fact that they try to make the videos and the murders link, right? Like you're trying to think like it's the same person, and so she has to now. Like her videos have to have murders in them, and it's like, why did it have to get to that level really of violence? Like,
why are we gonna do this though? Yeah, it was very dark what she did, and like even Jughead says like, I don't think she understands the enormity and the darkness that she did.
Yeah.
And I was like, talk about double standards. Like you're not giving her any reprimand, yet you're sending your brother who like killed bad people to jail. Like you didn't even say like, you guys like just let Charles run away and he'll never come back ever again. You like literally sent him to jail, and yet you're fucking.
But he's like an adult. Yeah,
he's an adult. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just like, really? Like this was, I don't know. I thought it was such a fucking weak damn story, and also just like a weak resolve. Like I wrote down, it was really fucked up that she sent that video to Archie, like the one that like.
That's the thing. After I was like, oh my god, she sent that video. I was like.
Yeah,
ooh, like you not only like did it to your brother and like maybe Betty, like you did it to poor Archie. Like why?
It would have been better if like she started it, but it got out of control. Like she couldn't control it anymore. Like maybe her friends like did it without her permission or something. Then I'd be like, okay, like maybe she just didn't have any fault in it. But like Archie, if I was Archie, I'd fucking punch her in the face. Like, how dare you bring a moment that was so sad to me?
It's just, I think you're right.
Life? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
if they did it where like her friends did it, they took it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But that to me is like a sociopath. Like you literally chose the most traumatic event of this kid's life. What did Archie ever do to you too? Yeah. Like he didn't do anything to you. So yeah, it was just beyond anything that I can fathom. And I truly hope that like her character doesn't come back in the flash forward, because I don't care for it. I'm over it. Like she's weird. That. Like
I hope at this point, like it turns out that Jelly Bean's in jail because she became a
serial
killer.
Sure.
I would believe that before I believe anything else. So we get our final moment of the entire episode. It is of Mary reading the letter that Archie ends up writing, and it's overlaid Archie going to the grave with his brother. Or with his uncle, who is Fred's brother. And it's really good. Like he says things about like forgiveness and like, you know, my dad would have never wanted like to do that. He always put forgiveness first. And, you know, we just want everybody to move forward. It was a really powerful moment. What do you think about that final moment?
No, I loved it. I loved everything about it. Made me almost cry. Super emotional. I loved it. Loved it.
And that is the episode, guys. Let's get into some of the comments from the listeners.
Yeah.
Our first one was from Lana Skopjak. And she says, this show is going to be the end of me. They did the exact same thing. Ooh, who could it be? Mystery storyline since fucking season 2. So she's right. The second person wrote, Ruth Ann Rowe says, oh my God, this episode had me crying all over the place. Then shocked. It was a lot coming at you at once, but damn, it was good. Charles wasn't innocent, and no Jelly Bean wasn't either, but glad that they tied that all up. Same girl, same. I'm glad that whole story is done. I was worried because I think I predicted that like this would carry over to the next season. Yeah,
we were scared about
that. Or the time jump.
I was like, don't do that.
Oh. But now I'm wondering what is going to bring them back at the end of the season.
I don't know. Something new. Something like a bit different, you know?
Maybe it'll just have like a Katie Keene vibe and no murders. Like that'd be nice. At CHONI 5 on, it says, this show would be so much better if they stopped doing these stupid mysteries or stopped it being Betty and Jughead show.
Yeah.
The show has been the same since season 2 with the same tired storylines. The only good thing about this episode was Archie and Cheryl. Also, my theory is Penelope may frame Cheryl and Cheryl's going to go to jail for the next 7 years. Ooh, what do you think about that?
Like, that's what I'm saying.
You're like, that is the theory. Yeah.
Because otherwise it would feel so random that she did this at this point. But it's Riverdale. Random things happen all the time and nothing ever really leads to anything. Connects. So like, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't lead to anything. And then from Instagram, we had someone at mini_BNL say, it annoys me so much that Betty is living her best life while Archie is struggling with everything.
Which is something that, again, we brought up last week, too, because we were like, it kind of, like, at prom, because we were like, it kind of sucks. Like VARCHIE's going through this crazy thing, and, like, BUGHEAD gets to kind of enjoy everything and just kind of, like, float through and be okay.
He's like suffering,
Yeah.
And well, before we get into your roundups, let's do ours.
Recap roundups. Best moment.
What was your best moment?
Best moment, I said Mija and Hermosa working together to take down / retire Papi. And then Mommy saying that she's divorcing Papi.
Bye, Mommy.
And I won't include the housewives part because that shit was whack as fuck. So.
That's the WTF moment part.
Yeah.
My best moment is going to be the end of the episode with Archie and Frank at Fred's grave. I thought it was a really well done scene. Like, it made me think about Luke Perry, R.I.P. Luke Perry, and you know, it was a great way to like finish it off. To that point, is it going to be the last time that this happens? I don't know. It's a part of his trauma, so it's probably something that we're going to see from now and then. But it was a really good way to like
beautiful
bring him back in, bring Frank in. So it was good.
And then root the show. Like truly, the craziness that happened in that whole episode to end it off like that. I'm like, okay. This is Riverdale.
Like we're back like on the ground now.
Underground.
On the ground.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
WTF moment. Penelope killing the entire Blossom family.
Like what?
Like okay, how are you gonna get away with it?
Yeah.
And is it gonna fall on Cheryl in the future? Is what I said. And then B, why didn't you do this from time?
100%.
But
if you hated them this long, then you should have just like killed them just for fun.
And if it was so easy, she was like, "Oh yeah, I just put some herbs in their tea and like they're gone."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was like, so
how did you get access to all of them though? Like,
I know, like, how did you just like send them like a care package or like what was this? What was the situation there?
Whatever. And then also Hermione becoming a New York housewife.
There's your moment. Mine is Jelly being auteur reveal. Because I think that it was such a weak story. I thought it was going to go somewhere and it really didn't go anywhere. That being said, like it was introduced right after the Stonies were like resolved. So I was annoyed. I remember watching it and being like, why is there more murder happening? So I am glad that it's Jelly being in a way, but I'm also like, can we just stop with the murders for 5 seconds and enjoy these characters as they are?
Somebody was like, whatever, I'm so annoyed. And I was like, don't be mad that it happened. Just be glad that it's over. Like that is it. Like that is the summary of what this whole thing is about.
100%.
Just be happy it's over. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
MVP.
Who's your MVP?
MVP is Archie. Like truthfully, like he is Riverdale in my opinion. And like this episode like added to that. He is just the heart and soul of the show. And what he goes through is so real and it's so powerful. When it's compared to what other things are happening, you're like, why am I watching this? Like I want to watch this. Like
it's hard. It is hard because I think we've said that so many times. Like, when can we just get a normal show? Like, we're down to watch that.
Yeah.
Like, we never told the writers that we want more psychotic people with shitty storylines. You know, like. Anyway, I know that there's an intrigue to the mystery, of course. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we've been gagged and we've been so involved in like the mystery side of things. But when it's so weak, like these were both of the storylines, Jellybean and Charles, they had some potential, almost no potential, and then like left it at like the lowest bar in terms of our excitement for it. Like the resolve was stupid.
He's just so real. Like even in the beginning, how he's like, "What are we doing right now? Like, why are we trying to act like everything's fine?"
Yeah,
it's like he calls out the show. He's like, "This shit's insane. Like I have real issues to deal with." And so I loved when he said that because it's like it's so honest. It's so real. Yeah. Like, yeah.
That's a good point.
MVP, Archie.
My MVP is gonna go to Betty because she solved the murders and
together they make VARCHIE.
Okay, let's do that. Season 5.
So why Betty? Sorry.
I just love her. I said the same thing last season. I still love her. She's my fave. I can't.
I mean, even in this episode, she kind of does everything. She answers all the phone calls.
She does everything.
No one's calling her in the middle of the night. I mean, no one's calling Jughead in the middle of the night. Everyone's calling her. And then even in the end, like it's her that kind of like looks at Charles and is like, "You're the guy.
You're the killer."
Jughead's more like, "Hey,
Yeah, he's like, I don't have the serial killer gene. You guys have the serial killer gene, but like we don't know who it came from, so like maybe I have it.
No, like they just need to do that with ancestry and just get it over with and find out who has that gene.
Just who got that gene now?
LVP.
Who's your LVP?
LVP, I'm gonna say FP and Alice for never knowing anything about their children, like not knowing anything, like not being like, "Are you good, Jellybean?" Like, do you need help? Like,
do you need to go to a therapist?
At the end, like you were saying, FP doesn't even say anything. He's just like, "Oh my god, like, are you good? Like, take your kid to therapy."
Like, what's going on here? Like, and also like we were saying, like they were already so fully traumatized by their son being a serial killer.
Yeah.
No resolve whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then they dump more information about their other daughter. Fuck. The Coopers just don't.
They should just be like, we're not meant to be together. Like, we do not breed good genes here.
Yeah, let's just cut it out. Oh my gosh. My LVP is gonna go to Charles because I wrote down he was the worst, most boring, but also it's hard because he was also the hottest serial killer we've ever gotten. So it's hard. It's very conflicting for me to be like, he was the worst character, but at the same time, like he was also the hottest.
Oh, you're funny.
And also, like, why didn't he kill the Stonies earlier? Was my question. It was like,
you know what? When you said that, I
could
can't
have killed
believe
Brett from time.
From time when he was like, he was almost gonna kill Jughead.
Yeah,
you should have killed him long before then.
Like from time, if you're the fucking investigator who knows the story, like fuck.
Also, like, why wouldn't he kill the cult leader that was gonna kill Alice? Like, there was so many people that you could have killed.
Like a million of them, and you just were like, just these three, and just this episode.
It's not my time yet.
It's not my time. I'm gonna figure it out one day.
The best line.
What's your best moment or best line?
Best line is gonna go to Hermione. And when she's like, your father is a fool. What do I need to do right now? Like, she was just like, tell me what I need to do. And again, like, boss ass line. Like, I was dying. She even like liked the tweet that I wrote because like she's like, it's a boss ass line. But like her ending is not a boss ass ending.
What is that? You're gonna be a housewife now? Where are you gonna be? You're gonna be at Housewives? What time? Tell me what time. On Bravo? My best line is going to Frank when he says, it takes years to heal, maybe your entire life. It is the tea, it is the sad,
Someone
it is the real.
Hiram launch that.
Yeah. I know, right? Jesus. Just chill out. Let's get into our listener roundups.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Lana saying her best moment was Cheryl muting her aunt during the video meeting.
That was funny.
Very funny. WTF moment, the Blossoms talking about the murder of Bedford as if Cheryl stole their phone or something. Oh, man. MVP, Mary for basically being the only sane, caring mother on the show. True.
I mean, this episode for sure. Credit. Yeah.
LVP, the writers for not giving Nana Rose some funny line after Cheryl hung up. And best line, bye Donna, from when Donna called Betty in the middle of the night. I don't know. I like the sapphic vibe. Not sure what that means. You go. Next one up.
At Ruth Ann Rowe, best moment when Archie was unloading the hurt and anger on his uncle. I felt that. Like, yeah.
In the feels.
Yeah.
Totally.
WTF moment, Betty getting called 2 times at night. Like, the hell, call me in the morning. Seriously, like, don't even answer.
Yeah.
MVP Archie, I think he had a lot to unload and he had to get through now before time jump. 100% agree with that. Agreed. LVP, Hiram for beating on Archie, but where you at when your daughter was at gunpoint? Get a life.
True
Cheryl
story.
And Penelope, like, are you serious right now? She tried to kill the core 4 last season and Betty's dad and just killed the rest of her family.
Yep. Yeah, go for it.
At Dazit Micah.
Sure.
I hope I'm saying them right. Best moment, Hermione finally sticking up for herself. Penelope coming out of the wall.
Hello.
WTF moment, Jellybean being behind the tapes. Yeah. MVP Archie KJ Appa was amazing. He really was.
He was.
He like, I am blown away by his acting. Like, every week.
Great job.
LVP Cheryl. That hat was a little off brand. Oh, okay. Best line, you're a dog. You're a dog that needs to be trained. Veronica to hide. That was a good line. Yeah.
Postmaster Radio says best moment. Jughead's Ivy acceptance. Congratulations, Jughead. True.
Which, by the way, came really late because graduation's next week. So like, you should have been accepted at this point.
Like at this point, he should have already known. WTF Moment. The tape reveal sounds stupid, but how did I not realize it sooner? Serves me right for underestimating the mystery and being blinded by the insanity of the show. Very true. You guys probably had a gut feeling about it long before me. You're too down for the show. We've already said. We've sent in our resumes many times. They won't take us as writers.
They will not accept our resumes because we hate on this show too much.
Because we're Canadian, yeah. MVP is #BUGHEAD, and LVP, the writers, for putting that #VARCHIE breakup and this week's Fred tape back to back. The tale of Archie's morning was still powerful, but could have been better if I thought Archie wasn't an idiot after prom. It's true. I was still annoyed about how things went down with Veronica. So like, you don't get a moment to be like, poor Archie. But,
you know what? I almost wish that tape kind of happened right before that, so that you could have justified all of his kind of like irrational behavior from that.
Yeah, true.
It's a good point.
Best line, I see no reason to put my passions on hold anymore. Hermione saying that, and he says, that line just cracked me up so much. Yes, for Hermione. Maybe a Hermione housewife Riverdale spinoff is in order. On Bravo, 9 o'clock. Go for the next one.
At Becca Sarah. This is our homegirl from Time. MVP. Hermione. Yeah?
Yep, that's it.
I agree. LVP, Jellybean. Best moment, Hermione saying she's leaving Hiram for sure. WTF moment, Archie breaking the TV and the VHS. So she's very true. She's upset about that.
Yeah.
Best line, is this a joke?
I don't know who says that.
I don't know who says like everyone watching Riverdale ever.
Yeah. Is this not real?
Yeah.
Am I dreaming?
At Naomi. These were from Instagram, I believe. I think. Best moment, Betty and Jughead confronting Charles. WTF moment, Veronica at gunpoint. Yeah, see, even that moment got overshadowed by everything else.
Yeah, because so much happened. I literally thought it was going to be like the moment of the episode.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
MVP, Betty and Jug. LVP, Charles and Chick. At Fanny, MVP, Archie, and that's all I have to say. She ended it right there.
No other roundups. Just MVP
just
is
MVP,
Archie.
AJ Appa. Yep. Agreed.
There we go.
God,
that is the end of our podcast. Look at us go. Before we finish off, I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode. We have our Rewinder Squad, White and Nicole, our Lit Rewinders, Tina, Ann, Soleil, and Kate, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, Grace, and a new one, Corey, for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. And we're kind of planning a little cute, like a cute little, maybe just a cute little low-key / high-key Q&A live session with the both of us. And hopefully we can host that on Patreon and answer some of your questions about Riverdale, about like whatever you want to ask us, basically.
Whatever you want to know.
So that's going to come up soon, guys. So if you want to be a part of that, be sure to subscribe to our Patreon account.
Page.
Right there.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We'll keep you posted on that new stuff that's coming down the line. You can also check us out on all of podcasting everything. Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, following, reviewing, and commenting to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. We try to get to as many comments as, if not all of them, every week. Just to stay engaged with us. And thanks for listening. At Recap Rewind.
Shout out to @Abrank for our new gear, by the way. Let's shout them out. Let's shout them out and put a little thing right here, somewhere here.
Yeah.
Brand new gear.
Check out their stuff. Thank you so much for the sweaters. We love them. So excited to wear them. And that's it. Thanks for listening. Bye. I'm like a ghost.